Hi, welcome to Mediumship. We're going to talk about spiritual knowledge, spiritual teaching, that kind of thing. Where does that come from? Where do you find it? What's the best way of going about it? So I'm going to start with the fact that you, being a spiritual being, already have the answers to a lot what you are seeking. We spend an awful long time throughout our lives seeking. That is purpose of spirit. It wants to know more. It needs to gain experience. It needs to progress, and it will seek. It's a natural thing within ourselves. Obviously, there are many people who have absolutely no interest in any of that whatsoever. They're quite happy getting up in the morning, going to work, and getting what they can get, which is fine, which is causing an awful lot of problems in the world today, simply because we are dividing, we are putting a wedge, if you like, in between mind, body, and spirit. The mind being allowed to just run riot, if you like, and do what it does best: protect, feed, shelter, and defend you in same as protection, I guess. But it will just simply go into auto mode and do all those things to extreme. So it will gain what it can gain to extreme. Hence the material world we live in. It's the same with protection, with defending itself. That's why we say so much rage, so much anger, because we've simply allowed it to run away with itself, if you like. Because the divide, the link between mind and soul is getting wider. Therefore, there's no more empathy in certain people. There's no more care about what happens out there. Because, like I said, that gap is getting wider and wider. So we're kind of, in a sense, I guess, becoming more and more like robots as time goes on, and just allowing the mind to run riot and do what it wants to do, because that link is getting, like I said, a lot wider. So how do we stop that from happening? How do we bring those three elements of self together? The mind, the body, and the spirit. Well, to some degree, it's people like you who work as mediums, work as light workers. You help narrow that divide to a certain degree by simply giving messages, talking to people. You help light that spark. What you do is ignite the spark of spirit in someone. And when that happens, that knowledge within themselves starts to expand and links more with the mind, and the two work in harmony, not separately. The mind is a powerful thing, and obviously it's a material, powerful thing in a material world. So it kind of has the upper hand. That's why you find it very difficult in some of the young people to control emotion. They get very confused with what life's all about, the purpose behind it all, because the mind just wants to gain. The more it wants to gain, the more separated the mind and the spirit become, the more agitated somebody gets, out of control, if you like, which is sad. But your job as a medium, as a light worker, is to try and pull together those two elements of a soul, the mind and the spirit, and get them to work together so that a person can rethink things, can think things through spirit rather than just through mind, can link the two things together. And like I said, that's your purpose in a way, just through lighting that spark when you do your readings. If you give good evidence, then someone will start to question where that came from, even subconsciously sometimes. They know that life goes on, you've given that evidence, and they'll start to question purpose. If life goes on, then obviously I'm responsible for my actions, I need to progress, I need to be a good person. It all helps, and that positive energy just expands itself from one soul to another and really, really helps in everyday life for everyone. So you are that book of knowledge. So all the things that you are seeking, that you are looking for, the answers you are looking for about spiritual self, if you like, about spirituality, all those answers are there within you. And one of the most dangerous aspects of that, to a degree, is reading other people's perception of how things should be. Because by doing that, you are pushing that true knowledge that came with you, that's always been with you. You're pushing it away because you're allowing someone else's perception to bury it even deeper. So therefore, you're sitting for spirit and sitting in that silence, sitting for spirit and self, is where you are allowing that knowledge that is within you to expand. And if you listen hard enough, if you work hard enough at this, like I said, all the answers are there. And sometimes we all need a little help with that. Hence, we have people like me who do the teaching on Patreon, guide you, not teach you what's right and what's wrong, but guide you. So in a way, I guess, in a sense, that book of knowledge that is within you, I literally turn the pages. So I open the book for you that's got all the answers in it. It's just down to you to sit and read and allow that knowledge within that book to surface from within self. That's all a spiritual teacher, to a degree, does. It's not necessary for somebody to preach their own perceptions of what is right and what is wrong. You know what's right and what is wrong. You know that is within you. And the simplest way of discovering that is when you do something a little doubtful that you shouldn't be doing. You know it feels wrong. In a way, it's like that book of knowledge, finding that page where it describes what you're doing is wrong and allowing you to read it. It's a gut feeling. You know it's wrong. And when you sometimes do the opposite and do something that's really good, you know how that fills you with such a positive, loving energy. Because you are allowing that book to open and that knowledge to come and expand through you. And when it feels bad, you know it was wrong. And when it feels good, you know it was right. And it's simply because you already have the answers. And I've said it a million times, even through maybe if you're sitting in a circle that you're not happy with, listen to yourself and understand if it's not right, if it doesn't feel right, it's not right at all for you. So just move circles or find another circle somewhere, find another teacher somewhere if it doesn't feel right. So don't think, I think in the old days when I used to sit in some of the circles, you know within, well, probably on the first evening if it's the right one for you or not. And I can remember feeling no, this isn't right. And it's important that you have the strength then to find another circle. It's the same, isn't it, when you meet someone, I mean, you instantly like them or you instantly dislike them to some degree. So there's an element there of listening to self. It's not some strange phenomenon within you that just doesn't like certain people. It's that book of knowledge opening itself. It knows. It has the answers. It contains the answers. And like I said earlier, it is a natural thing for the spirit to seek, for the soul to seek. And it seeks and it finds things out through experience. So the things that maybe your little book of knowledge doesn't contain, and it would be something that you would have known about before you even started this journey. You would have understood within self what needed to be experienced for you to progress spiritually. So that knowing is why you're here, so that you can fill those gaps. And that's why with teaching and the way I teach, I spend so much time getting to understand where you're at with your development. And I make notes. And sometimes I make notes on the strangest things that you may have said or experienced in your life, because it helps me build a picture of where you are, what your needs are in your mediumship development. So I teach, if you like, in a different way. You cannot blanket teach, because you are all unique, because you all have different elements of what you need to learn or what you need to experience. So we are so unique. We have all chosen these individual paths to learn individual missing pieces, if you like. Pieces that some of us have and some of us do not have. The whole purpose of life itself is built around building purpose. We build upon the purpose of becoming whole with the source. We're all at so many different levels, so many different parts of journeys. And it's the same with your mediumship journey, with your spiritual journey. We can sit in a room of 20 developing mediums, and every one of those will be on a different point of their journey. Therefore, you cannot blanket teach. It would be wrong to do that. And the way that you merge with your helpers, your guides, is unique to you. There is no blanket method to that. And we give many labels to many aspects of mediumship, like the clairvoyance, the clairaudience. Claire's going on forever, I think. There's so many. But that is so unimportant. What's important is the quality of the evidence that you give. How you gave that evidence, or where that evidence, or how that evidence managed to merge with the energy around you, within you, around yourself, around your, not necessarily order, but your energy field. How it managed to merge with that is unimportant. What's important is that evidence is correct and is given in a correct way. So whether you visualize the evidence, whether you hear that evidence, whether you sense that evidence, it doesn't matter. What matters is that thought wave that's sent from spirit, that emergence, that personality that merged with you, got that message across. That's all that matters. There's too much fluff, if you like, a word a lot of you like to use. There's too much of that. What's important is the quality of the evidence that you give. Yes, it's nice to understand how you got it, but if you could sit and give a reading every night with quality evidence from spirit, then I'm guessing you wouldn't worry too much of how you sense that. You would just want to carry on, and that's what's important. So please understand your uniqueness. And obviously, with human beings as we are, we will all think the same thing. Why on earth did I choose this life? Why on earth am I going through this? Why am I having so much bad luck? Etc., etc. Don't worry about why. Just worry about learning from it. Because without these problems, without climbing these mountains and coming down the other side, there would be no purpose at all. Just be proud of how you overcome that problem, if you like. But most importantly, learn from it. We will never have a life with no problems, because it would be simply pointless. And the problems that you are overcoming are ones that will make you shine even brighter. So please celebrate your uniqueness. Celebrate the problems that you've managed to overcome, because you knew at the beginning of your journey that you were going to experience those, because you knew that you needed to experience those, because you, like I said, are so unique. You have a journey to take to simply progress so that you can shine brighter and become part of that source that flows through all. You're simply doing what you decided to do. So remember, you have the answers. And all you have to do is read your book of knowledge, not someone else's, because it will be totally irrelevant to the journey that you have chosen to undertake. So that'll do, I think. Enough depth, I think, for one evening. I hope you enjoyed my little talk. I've mentioned it, I think, in the circle. The end of the month, I've been lucky enough to be invited to do a talk on radio, which is going to kind of cover some of what I've just said. They're quite interested in the way I teach. They like it. They like the fact that your uniqueness is something that I encompass and I use as my method of teaching. I get to know self. within you. And that's what I look for before we start that journey on that road of mediumship. They're interested in that, so hopefully I'll give some good answers to some of the questions that may well be asked. And I'm looking forward to it. And I will put a link on Patreon or YouTube once obviously it's been all sorted out. So please like and please subscribe. Means an awful lot to me, more than what you even know, to be honest. So I wish you all the best with your sitting for self and spirit. And don't forget your intent. Don't worry too much about expanding this, that, and the other whilst you're sat there in that silence. What's important is your intent, that open heart, because that is that energy that you need to put out there. Your love, your light, your intent, that is what spirit will pick up upon. So don't strain and make things difficult by trying to visualize things. Just send that love that's within you out there. And keep doing that. That's it. Have a lovely, lovely evening. And if you want to go onto Patreon, I'll put a link in the description. If you don't want to have a quick look on what I do in the different classes, etc. I will be putting a new one on there shortly for any groups that might like just a one-off meet. Any circle groups that may just want to have a natter, ask some questions, and that'd be great. So we can have a chinwag. I'll sort that out as soon as I can, once I get some time to do that. So I love talking to groups and giving talks, so it'd be something I'd like to carry on with. So have a lovely evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are in the world, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye for now.